Right now, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments in one of several big cases on the docket this term. The new term just began on Monday, and today's proceedings involve the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB. It was set up in the wake of the 2008 financial meltdown, and it works to monitor the practice of lenders, debt collectors, and credit rating agencies. At issue is how it's funded. Currently, the CFPB receives up to a capped amount of funding every year from the Federal Reserve. That's opposed to the congressional appropriations process. The Supreme Court will consider whether or not that's constitutional. It will be the most significant test yet of the CFPB's 13-year existence. Here to talk about some of the bigger cases that will be on the docket this session, joining me now, Dr. Susan Liebell, professor of political science at St. Joseph's University. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it this morning. So I'm looking at the list of cases, and there's some big ones that we all should be watching. And let's go through just a few of them, starting with abortion. The High Court will look at a major abortion case that could severely limit the availability of the drug mifepristone, used in more than half of all pregnancy terminations. What will you be looking for in this case as the court takes it up?
Well, really, the strange aspect of this case has to do with standing. When you bring a case, you're supposed to have experienced some sort of harm. And in this case, there are doctors who oppose abortion who never used mifepristone, didn't have patients who used mifepristone, and they are the people suing in this case. So I think what I'll be watching for here is whether the Supreme Court tries to sort of weave through two sides of not really deciding too much here and perhaps dismissing the case on the basis of standing and keeping the effects rather limited.
Interesting. Another major case the court will take up: gun rights. The Supreme Court set to rule on a gun regulation case out of Texas. It involves whether people under domestic violence restraining orders can be barred from gun possession. How will you watch this one?
This is the one that interests me the most. I mean, the facts are terribly unsavory. A man abused his partner in a parking lot. He fired a gun at a witness. He threatened to shoot his partner if she were to turn him in. And here we're looking at whether or not Congress, who in 1994 said that domestic violence was a problem. It's even more of a problem today, and they passed the Violence Against Women Act. The question here is whether the conservative justices will overturn the will of Congress on an important matter and instead see only the narrow understanding of gun rights as opposed to the rights of the people who are abused and killed in these incidents across the United States each day.
This may be a stretch, but would a case like this have any bearing on the case against Hunter Biden right now and the dangerousness perspective of those who can buy and carry firearms, and in his case being a drug dealer at the time, or I mean a drug user?
It certainly is the case that this was part of a larger omnibus crime bill, and the idea was, to what extent should firearms and ammunition be available to people who are struggling with addiction or are under a restraining order for domestic violence. In the case of Hunter Biden, I think the idea is that you're trying to protect people who don't have the best judgment in the moment if they're struggling with addiction. In the case of domestic violence, you are protecting women mostly against people who are very likely to kill them. It is 500 times more likely to die if there is a firearm in the house during a domestic violence act.
Right. An important one to watch. Social media will be another issue that the High Court will take up. They'll be deciding whether the states can control what social media companies do when it comes to misinformation, hate speech, and other offensive material. I would say this is uncharted waters, but we've been here for a few times. So what might you expect to be the outcome?
I think this is a very conservative court, and we can't overstate that the vote is usually already made before the cases begin with a 6-3 court. However, this is a very interesting First Amendment case with incredible implications for our elections. The platforms are claiming that they have speech rights the same way a newspaper does to decide what kind of speech will be associated with their brand. And Florida and Texas are claiming that the individual posters have a First Amendment right to put up whatever they want.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.